Hi, this is Lou, welcome to my channel, and today I'm going to be testing out a new product that I've picked up in my local art shop. I thought it would be really good for working on top of watercolours, so I'm going to give it a go today. So this is the Pebeo Mirror Effect Kit, and essentially it comes with a little marker pen and then there's a couple of sheets of foil in here. Somewhere in here there's some shiny foil, there we go. Now, I bought this because I thought that actually this could be really good for applying gold leaf, so I'm going to try that as well. So I'm going to try it first with the foil that it comes with, but then I'm going to try it with some gold leaf. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to decorate some of these watercolours that I've been working on. So these are some experimental little watercolours that I've been playing with as subjects for a kind of a larger piece. So I've just been playing with some geometric shapes and playing with some washes of colour, and I decided to try something that kind of broke the rules of watercolour a little bit, which is painting in areas next to the ones that are still wet. So you get some kind of chaos, so you get some interesting effects. You don't just get the kind of bleeds in one area, and sometimes the effects are a little bit much, they're a little bit messy. But actually, when I've tried this at a larger scale, after doing some of these smaller studies, I really like the effect at a larger scale. So I think that this is something I'm going to play with a little bit more. But for these ones, I think I'm going to try out this marker pen and give them a little bit of something else, another layer of interest, and just see what I can do with them. So let's get the pen started. So the pen comes with a nib, and then it's got a little spare one in the cap as well, which is useful because I find the nibs on these are always the weak point. So I'm just going to press it down, try and get the ink flowing. Well, the glue, whatever's in the pen. Give it a bit of a shake. And that's looking pretty good. Okay, so we've got some glue flowing. It does say to take the nib out and wash it after you've finished with it, and I think that's probably a good idea because I've had marker pens like this from, for different things in the past, and they always end up drying out. So I think washing the nib out is probably a good idea. So all it says is trace the drawing until it's dry to the touch. So I guess draw on whatever it is you want to mirror, and then wait for it to dry, and then we'll place the foil on top, shiny side up. So this has got 2 sheets of foil, one gold and one silver. You don't get very much with the initial kit. You can buy extra sheets of the foil, but I'm just going to try with these to start with, and then if I decide I like the foil effect better than the gold leaf effect, or because it does something different, then I'll use that. But I've got lots of gold leaf. So I have gold leaf in booklets that looks like this, and it comes on transfer sheets of tissue paper. So I'm going to try it with this as well. So, okay, let's put this to one side. And I'm just going to start by using the marker on some of my watercolour paintings. So I'm going to start with the one of these that I actually like the least and see whether I can get it back, whether I can improve it by adding some gold or silver. I might do silver on this one. And what I think I'm going to do is there are supposed to be rectangles on here defining different areas. And my idea was to paint some of them while they're dry and then some of them while they're wet and allow the bleeds to happen. But I went a bit far and there were too many areas that bled into one another and it all looks a bit messy. So let's see if I can improve it by blocking out some more rectangles. So I'm just going to use some little bits of masking tape, and let's mask this one out here. There we go. And then let's just try and put some like nice simple stripes in here. Shall I just do that bit? Shall I go to the end? Maybe I'll just do that bit and then see how it comes out. I can take my masking tape off and save that for the next one. So I might do another one while this is waiting. Okay, let's do a similar thing on here. So you can't really see very well. There's some very faint stripes on there now, but it hasn't shown up terribly well. We'll just have to see whether the foil shows through. Right, this one is definitely dry to the touch now, so let's try with the silver sheet. I'm trying with the silver sheet because I don't really like this one so much. So I think that silver is my least favourite, this kind of silvery mirrored finish. So if I don't like it, then I haven't lost anything because I didn't really like this piece anyway. It says place it over with the shiny side up and then use a hard object to scrape it. And it's just got a picture on here of a thumb. So I guess a thumbnail is hard enough. So we'll try that. Seems to be sticking a little bit. Okay. And then you should just be able to pull it away and nothing's happened. Nothing's happened. Right, okay. Right, maybe I need a harder object. Right, we'll try it with a coin. Okay. Well, we've got some sort of scratchy surface on there. That doesn't look very helpful. Well, that's the first go, and I can't say I'm terribly impressed. It seems like the foil is stuck to the paint on the outside of the area that I'd marked where the glue wasn't, and it's not very clear where it is. But I should give it another go. I think I'm going to give this one another go with the pen and try something a little bit different. What I might do is leave the masking tape on until I've done the foiling and then take it off and see if I get a cleaner edge that way. I'm also going to check the flow from my pen, make sure that I'm getting enough on, because maybe that was the issue. Maybe there wasn't enough on there. Right, more slow, deliberate movements, and we will try it that way around. Right, I'm going to wait for this to completely touch dry before I go in with the foil. Okay, I'm going to go in with the same silvery mirrored foil and try on here. It's not shiny anymore, it's dry to the touch. And I'm going to use my finger first. Is that sticking? No, it's not sticking. Let's use my thumbnail. See, it looks like it's sticking. You can see the ridges in it. Let's try and remove that. Oh, that's looking a bit better. It's still kind of bitty. I'll give it another go over. So I'm getting some stripes on there, and it's looking a little bit better than the last time. What I'm finding though is that because this is cold pressed paper, it's textured, and it looks like the foil is only sticking to the kind of the top bits of the paper. It's not going down into the creases. So I'm going to try with a coin. Let's try that again. It's looking a bit better. Right. Okay. That's a little bit better than the first effort. It's still a little patchy in places, but at least I've got kind of more coverage on some of these areas. This little stripe here at the end hasn't covered terribly well. Let's take the masking tape off. And that has given me neater edges. So yeah, that looks a little bit better. It looks a lot better than that one. So I'm going to try this one with the gold, see what that looks like. And then I'm going to try one with gold leaf. So place that on there. Rub it with my thumb. I think I'm going to have to try the coin. Right, okay. So I've got some gold come off on there. You can see the kind of where it's, you can see on here where the gold's been taken off the foil. But it's a little bit bitty. And again, I've got some areas outside my glued area that have now got gold on them. But I do like the gold colour, it's nice. Right, I'm going to pick a third one and have a go with some gold leaf this time. Right, got my 2 hexagons marked out, and I think for this one I'm just going to do some scribbling rather than like trying to do a neat pattern or straight lines or anything. So let's see. And then this one here. It'll be interesting to see whether that works, because I've been a lot more messy and slapdash with that, and if it needs kind of slow movements to kind of get the ink moving from the pen or whatever it is in here, glue, then that might not be enough, but we'll give it a go. Okay, this is dry now, so I'm going to use this gold leaf. So this is imitation gold leaf I'm using here, not the real thing. It's a little bit stronger than real gold leaf in that real gold leaf is kind of very delicate and it flakes really easily, whereas this one doesn't so much. And I am pressing it down, and it might be adhering in a couple of places, but not really. Let's try my fingernail. And still not really sticking. Well, I can't really see that's done very much at all. So that didn't really work very well. I'm just going to try. Now, this is a bit risky because I've got some 23 karat gold leaf here, and I'm going to try a little bit on here. So I might just try a corner on here and see whether that one works. I said the real gold leaf is a little more fragile. It kind of comes off the backing and sticks easier. So we'll see. Oh, I've lost quite a bit there. Stick a bit more on there. Oh, you know what? That's working. Right, okay. Okay, right, we're going in with the rest of the real gold. I think that's the answer. You cannot cheap it out. That's the answer. Well, there you go. So this is the imitation gold. This is the 23 karat gold, and that's worked beautifully. I'll tell you what, actually, if that's worked, I'm going to go in on the other side with a little bit more of the gold. And just make this piece complete. Right, let's take the masking tape off and see what it looks like. So here I'm just using this really old kind of soft paintbrush to get rid of the excess. And you know what? That is totally the effect I was looking for. So that's interesting. Okay, for this one I'm going to try going a little bit more slowly, trying to get a bit more of the glue onto the surface and seeing if that makes a difference. Now I'm not going to mask anything off here, I'm just going to go in freehand. So here are the results of all my tests. So this was the first one that I did, and you can see it's not very good. It's a little scratchy. The silver foil has adhered around the outside of the area I was trying to stick it to. I found that actually, interestingly, the magenta colour that I've been using seems to attract both the gold leaf and the foil to stick to it more than any of the other colours. But yeah, there's a little trick for cleaning this up, which is you can take a scalpel and kind of have it flat against the surface of the paper and use the blade to scrape away the bits that are kind of in the wrong place. So you can use that to neaten up the edges. You don't need to do it very hard because you don't want to scrape through the paint. But you can use that to kind of clean areas up. So these two were done with the silver foil. And then this one was done with the gold foil. And I felt like I was getting better as I was going along. It's kind of getting to know how much pressure to put on, and I had to do a lot more rubbing than I kind of assumed to start with. Also, to kind of cover the patchy areas, sometimes you had to kind of lift the foil and then place it down again in a slightly different area to kind of get everything covered. They're all still a little bit patchy, but there's a nice kind of shine to it. And that one is definitely the best in terms of kind of coverage and kind of filling the area and kind of looking neat and not having kind of overspill areas. This one was done with the gold foil as well. I wanted to try something with like a bigger area. And actually it wasn't bad, but again, I had to move the foil a couple of times to kind of, so yeah, this side stuck really well. And then this side didn't so much, it's a little bit more patchy, but actually I think it's okay. I do have some of that overspill area in here. So I'm just going to spend a little bit of time cleaning that up just by scratching away that unwanted gold in those places. But yeah, I think that's really neatened this image up, and these kind of spills into the other areas, which I wanted, but I wasn't quite sure how they'd look. They're experimental. I think that having the gold foil rainbow on there has really kind of cleared those up, and I'm quite happy with that one now, whereas it wasn't one of my favourites to start with. So I'm going to spend a little while kind of cleaning that up, and I think that could be a nice finished image. Much happier with the way this one worked. So this is so I started with the imitation gold leaf, and that didn't adhere very well at all. So then I switched to 23 karat gold leaf, and that's adhered beautifully. It's a lovely effect. And actually I've gone on to make a larger piece with this same pattern, same motif, and I'll just put in a few little shots of that now. And then finally I wanted to try this on some smoother card, because this is all cold pressed watercolour paper, which has a bit of a texture to it, to see whether that made much of a difference. Also, the advantage of having a pen is that you can do looser marks with it. I could do these kind of things with a paintbrush and some gold size. So I wanted to be able to kind of do some kind of looser, more scribbly things with the pen. And so I've done a couple of words on here, and this is the smooth black card. And this one here was the gold foil, and that's come out quite well. But again, it needed a lot of rubbing, and it needed moving the foil to kind of cover patchy areas. It didn't come off nice and evenly and clean like I expected it to. And this one was with the imitation gold leaf, and you can see again, it's adhered nicely on the end of the word, but not at the beginning, and it's a little bit patchy there. So yeah, so will I be rushing out to buy some more gold foil? Well, I think I might get a few sheets, and I think it could come in handy in some of the projects. But I think if I'm really working on finished pieces, I think I'll be using the 23 karat gold leaf, because that's come out beautifully. So there are my experiments with this foiling pen, leafing pen, and yeah, I think it could take a little bit of playing to get a kind of a really nice effect with it. It takes a little bit of learning and understanding how much pressure to put on when kind of rubbing the foil off, and how to kind of get the pen nice and juicy so there's lots of the glue flowing out of it. It didn't kind of work beautifully out of the tin, but after a little bit of playing, I've got some results that I'm quite happy with. So that's my final thoughts on this. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope it's been helpful, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Thanks, bye-bye.